Hey everyone, it's Patty from PS Paper Crafts, and I'm going to make a Mother's Day card today, and I'm using the Painted Harvest set. I love this set. It's got kind of two steps, detail, and then a watercolor look, leaves the same way. So I really love this. I think it maybe is probably a little fall for Mother's Day, but I think it's beautiful, so we're going for it. I have everything kind of pre-cut. So I have my Early Espresso card base, a standard card base that's 5.5 and then 8.5, and then it's scored at 4.25. This layer is crumb cake, and I did it a little bit different. Normally I do 4 by 5.25, but this time I did 3 3/4 by 5.25, just to give it a kind of a long, skinnier look. And then the Whisper Wipe that I'm stamping on is 3.5 by 3. So that'll fit in there. I'll put the ribbon and then the sentiment. So let's get started with the stamping. And I'm using these two, and I did the first one in Peekaboo Peach. This is a retiring color. It was an in color and had its 2-year lifespan, and now it's retiring. So I'm doing this one first in the more detailed, and I'm just going to do it up here a little bit so I have room for leaves. And I'm pressing down, and I'm just going to lift up and twist it a little bit just to give me a little bit more dimension. And let's close this up. And then I did this other one in Daffodil Delight. And I don't know if you can see, but there's a hole in the middle, but then there's the stamp edge, and I try to line that up with this as best I can, just to make sure it's not all kind of out of sync here. And it doesn't line up 100%, and it's really not supposed to. It's supposed to be kind of a just free-flowing, not too detailed. Isn't that beautiful? So we'll do that, and then with the leaves, I'm doing, where is my garden green? And again, that's the 2-step, and I like to do the detailed step first in a darker color. And what I'm doing with this is I'm going to use some, let me just get it, Post-it note tape. And I'm just going to tear a little piece off. I don't want the stem, I just want the leaves, because the stem will stick out too much. So what I'm doing is I'm going to just put this over, and then I'm going to stamp. And the key, very important thing, is to take this off. You don't want all that ink on your project. And I'm just going to put it here. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this, and I'm actually going to stamp off a little bit so I get a lighter green. So I'm going to stamp it here, and then I'll stamp it on here and try to look through and line it up as best I can. Okay, and while I have this green out, I'm going to do the inside. So on the inside of the card, I did kind of this fern looking thing. So I'm going to do that again, and I'll show you how I did that. Kind of the same thing, the 2-step with the same color. So I'm going to do the garden green directly on. And I'm actually going to do it up here as well. And then I'll do the garden green, but I'll stamp off. So it gives you the same color, just a lighter shade. And then you look through your stamp right over it. Looks pretty good. And again, it's kind of a watercolor look. So I'll do the same thing here. Okay, so we have the inside done. And let's do the stamping on the sentiment. So I use this Happy Mother's Day, and this is again from the Teeny Tiny Wishes. This is a great set. It is retiring. It has, you know, happy retirement, happy graduation. I saw Happy St. Patrick's Day. This is an old set that I've had forever. Happy anniversary. It just has A lot of sentiments that you don't see in other sets. So if you want this, it's going to retire. So you better get it. So I did this in early espresso. Oh, and I have to do the center of my flower too. Don't let me forget that. So I just stamped it on a piece of scrap. I don't like the way the Y came out. So let's do this again. Okay, that looks crisp and clear. And then I used my classic label punch to punch that out. Fits perfectly with these. Let me just unlock it first. So I just go back here. That looks good. Punch it out. And, oh, there we go. So we'll put that aside. And let me do the middle of this. That's important. So let me get, this is the middle stamp. So that's this one. And then I'm going to do some dots. So I did this in crumb cake. And I stamped off on this to make it a little bit lighter because I thought it was very dark. And it'd probably be okay to keep it that dark. And then I did the little dots just here and there, straight on. So there we go. Our stamping is done. And then we just have to put it together. So what I did was I tried to place this and get this burlap ribbon, kind of figure out where I'd want it, and then I put it down. So let me get my snail. Ooh. Put this down. Out of snail. Have another one handy. I've learned to have another one handy so that you all don't have to wait for me to refill it. So I think I'm going to place it right about here, center it on each side, and then I can put this down. And let me just cut a piece of this. I put this down with the fast fuse because I really wanted to make sure it's stuck all the way around. Let me just get that out. And it was a little bit, I'm wondering, maybe I should have just done it on here. Let me do it on here. I did it on the ribbon and I kind of had a hard time with it. So, I always have a hard time starting this thing. This is another thing that's retiring. It is good once you get it started. There we go. It's very strong adhesive. So it's really good to have for this kind of a ribbon. So we'll do that and go around. I'm going to put a little bit back here as well. And you have to kind of pull it to the side to break off the actual adhesive. And then I'll put more in the back. The next thing I want to do is this baker's twine. This is in crushed curry because that's the color I had, and I thought it kind of went with this. And what I did was I just wrapped it around 3 times just to add a little color to this burlap looking ribbon. So I'll just go around 3 times and then I'll adhere it in the back. So let me just cut this, and I just put it down with a piece of Scotch tape in the back just to hold it all down. So where did I put my Scotch tape? I have so many things here. Here it is. Sorry about that. It's on my other table. Sometimes I have too many things around and I'm looking at it and I don't see it. So I'm just going to put that right down there to hold that in place. Okay? And then what I did was, and if you've watched me before, you'll know that I've done this many, many times. I like to do when I use baker's twine or the linen thread, I like to do a double bow or 2 pieces of the twine to make a bow. Just to make it a little bit more significant, I guess. So I'm just going to make a bow, a small bow, and just kind of pull the ends and fuss around with it. Cut the edges off. Let's see, I should probably have my ribbon scissors for this. Okay. I think that's okay. And we have this for down here. So let's get these things attached. I'm going to just put a little snail on this and stick this down. And of course you can use dimensionals and pop things up. This one I just decided to go straight down with. And on this guy I'm going to use the fast fuse as well, just to make sure up here is good and secure. Oh, I don't know. I just sometimes have a problem with this. It's really good when it works. How's that? Oh, okay. And we'll put this down. Kind of center it. Side to side, top to bottom. Okay. And then let me get a little glue dot for this thing. And we're almost done. Just take this, put it in a little ball, and put it on the back of this. And then we can adhere this down. Okay. And then I did put 3 little pearls here, and what I did was I took the pearls and I used my blend, and I used the dark crumb cake, and you'll see that I tried the yellow. I thought the yellow was too bright and too big, so I ended up with this size, and you just color it. So, and it the alcohol blends, it just gives it a nice color, so you can make these pearls any color you want, and you can put layer and layer and layer on it. So I think those look good, and these have adhesive underneath them. I always have a difficult time with these as well. I think I need something flatter, but we'll try it. So I'm going to put one here, and before I really press it down, I'm going to put each one and try to place them. I just thought it needed a little bit something in this corner. And number 3. And I know you know this, but well, in case you don't, they say to use odd numbers, that it's pleasing to the eye. So I always try to do 3 or 5 of something. So kind of interesting. So there's that, and then we'll just put the inside in and we're done. Pretty easy card. I like the way it came out. Again, I love this stamp. It reminds me of, you know, the sunflowers at the end of the summer. So here we go. And I'll just write my own sentiment in there. So there we go. Those are the 2 cards. I hope you like them. Give me a thumbs up if you did. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.